Hello, everyone. Can you imagine the heart-wrenching moment when the people you've loved and sacrificed everything for, your family, your closest allies, turn their backs on you, plotting to strip away your independence, your legacy, and your very sense of self? That's the devastating shock Evelyn Harper, a 74-year-old woman, faced when her daughter, Claire, and her calculating brother-in-law, Robert, schemed to declare her unfit to control her own life. This is a story of betrayal, a grueling legal battle, and the remarkable journey of a woman who found her strength when she thought she had nothing left. Join me as we dive into this powerful tale of pain, resilience, and hope. Please leave a comment letting me know where you're watching from. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more inspiring stories, and feel free to share your own experiences. Your voice matters. Let's get started. My name is Evelyn Harper, and at 74, I've learned that life doesn't hand you anything on a silver platter. I live alone now in a grand old Victorian house in a quiet suburb of Raleigh, North Carolina, a place that once rang with love and laughter, but now feels like a museum of faded dreams. The creaking hardwood floors, the peeling floral wallpaper, the rose garden I've tended for decades, they're all remnants of a life I built with my late husband, William, over our 35 years of marriage. But William's been gone for 10 years, taken by a sudden heart attack, and the warmth we shared has long since cooled. When I catch my reflection in the mirror, I don't see the lively woman who used to host neighborhood potlucks or sway with William to Ella Fitzgerald records in the living room. Instead, I see a woman shaped by time, gray hair thinning, eyes heavy with regrets and hard-earned wisdom. Loneliness is an old friend, but nothing could have prepared me for the sting of betrayal from the one person I thought would always be my anchor, my daughter, Claire. Claire was my world after William passed. She was my pride, my joy, the reason I kept going. But our bond broke when she was a teenager, caught up with a boy I knew was trouble, a charmer with no future. I tried to shield her, to guide her toward better choices, but she saw my rules as shackles. At 18, she left to live with William's sister in Charlotte, accusing me of smothering her dreams. I was left alone in this big house, wondering where I'd failed as a mother. For years, we drifted apart. Claire's calls were rare, her promises to visit empty. I told myself she was happy, that she didn't need me anymore, but life has a way of turning the tables, and 2 years ago, Claire showed up at my doorstep. 38, jobless, and with nowhere to go. She'd hit rock bottom after failed relationships and bad business ventures. Against my better judgment, I opened my home and my heart to her, hoping we could rebuild what we'd lost. At first, it felt like a second chance. Claire was quieter, older, but still carried that spark of defiance I remembered. I dreamed we could mend our bond, that she'd see the love behind my sacrifices. I gave her a room, covered her expenses, even let her use my car. A 2015 Cadillac, my one luxury, bought with savings from years of teaching and careful budgeting. I thought it might give her a sense of independence, a way to get back on her feet. I was wrong. It was a stormy Thursday night when everything fell apart. Claire came home late, the Cadillac's front bumper scraped and dented. She stumbled through the door, smelling of wine, her eyes unfocused. "Sorry, Mom," she mumbled, but her words were empty, no trace of regret. I demanded to know what happened, my voice shaking, but she brushed past me, muttering about a stupid accident before disappearing upstairs. I stood in the foyer, rain dripping from my coat, my heart pounding. That car wasn't just a vehicle. It was a symbol of my hard-won stability, a reminder that I'd built something for myself. I'd poured my life into moments like that, moments when I could say, I earned this. And now, Claire had treated it like it was nothing. I stepped outside, the rain soaking my sweater, and inspected the damage. A deep scratch marred the side. The headlight cracked. My hands trembled as I traced the dents, anger swelling inside me. "Claire!" I shouted, my voice cutting through the storm. "Get down here and explain this!" She appeared at the top of the stairs, arms crossed, her face a mask of indifference. "It's just a car, Mom. Why are you freaking out? It's not like I totaled it." "Just a car?" I snapped, my voice breaking. "This is my life, Claire. Everything I have, I worked for, every penny, every sacrifice, and you treat it like it's worthless. You're not a kid anymore. When are you going to grow up?" She rolled her eyes, a gesture that cut deeper than her words. "You're so dramatic. Maybe you're the one who needs to calm down. You're getting old, Mom. Maybe you're not thinking straight." Her words hit like a slap, cold and deliberate. She turned and slammed her door, leaving me alone in the dim hallway, the rain pounding outside. That night, as I lay in bed, her words echoed in my mind. Not thinking straight. Was that what she thought of me? A frail, confused old woman, clinging to a life that no longer mattered? I thought of the years I'd spent protecting her, giving her everything, only to be met with disdain. I'd let her walk all over me, guilt-tripped into believing I was the problem. But something snapped that night. I was done being her doormat, done being anyone's doormat. The next morning, I woke with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. I wasn't going to let Claire or anyone strip me of my dignity. I had a plan, one that would shake her to her core, one that would prove I was still in control. I didn't know how it would play out, but one thing was certain. Evelyn Harper was ready to fight. The days after the car incident were thick with tension. Claire barely spoke to me, retreating to her room like a sullen teenager. Her silence was a weapon, wielded with precision. Every ignored greeting, every avoided glance, screamed that she saw me as weak, someone she could manipulate. But I wasn't the woman I'd been when she was a child. I'd rebuilt my life after William's death, faced loss and loneliness, and I wasn't about to let my daughter unravel everything I'd fought for. I started small. I contacted a mechanic to assess the Cadillac's damage. $2,500, a hit to my fixed income. I told Claire she'd need to chip in for repairs, but she scoffed, claiming she was broke. Her entitlement grated on me, but I held my tongue. I needed to stay focused. My next move was bolder. I called Margaret, a real estate agent from my church who'd been in the business for decades. I told her I was thinking of selling the house. The decision wasn't easy. This house was my sanctuary, filled with memories of William's laughter, Claire's childhood, and the countless evenings I'd spent tending the rose garden. But it had also become a cage, trapping me with Claire's disrespect and my fears of aging. Selling it would mean a fresh start. Maybe a condo near the community center where I played bridge with my friends, Doris and Helen. It would mean freedom. When I told Claire, her reaction was predictable. Disbelief, then anger. We were in the kitchen, the morning sun streaming through the lace curtains, when I broke the news. "You're selling the house?" she asked, her voice sharp. "Are you serious? This is our home." "It's my home," I corrected, my tone firm. "And I can't keep living like this, Claire." You come back here, wreck my car, treat me like I'm nothing, and expect me to just take it. I'm done. You have 2 months to find a job and a place of your own, or you're on your own." Her eyes widened, a flicker of fear crossing her face before she masked it with defiance. "You're bluffing. You'd never sell this place. It's all you have. You're just trying to control me, like always." "No," I said, my voice steady. "I'm doing this for me. For once, I'm putting myself first." She stormed out, slamming the back door so hard the glass rattled. I stood there, my heart pounding, but I felt a strange relief. For the first time in years, I was standing my ground. I wasn't sure if Claire believed me, but I meant every word. The house was going on the market, and I was ready to let go of the past, of her expectations, of everything holding me back. The weeks that followed were an emotional whirlwind. Margaret began listing the house, and I spent hours sorting through decades of belongings: photo albums, William's old fishing rods, Claire's childhood drawings. Each item was a piece of my heart, and letting go felt like tearing out pages from my story. But with every box I packed, I felt lighter, as if I were shedding years of pleasing others. Claire grew more distant, leaving early and returning late without explanation. I suspected she was avoiding me, hoping I'd back down, but I didn't. Then, one evening, I got a call that turned my world upside down. It was Robert, William's older brother, who'd always looked down on me, believing I wasn't good enough for his brother. After William's death, he'd tried to claim part of our estate, but the courts ruled in my favor. I hadn't spoken to him in years, but his voice was as cold as ever. "Evelyn, we need to talk about Claire," he said, his tone dripping with false concern. "She's worried about you. Says you're not yourself, selling the house, acting erratic. She thinks you might need help." My stomach churned. I knew where this was headed. Claire had gone to Robert, the one person she knew would jump at the chance to undermine me. "Help?" I asked, my voice tight. "What are you implying, Robert?" "I'm just saying, you're not getting any younger. Claire's concerned you're making decisions you'll regret. She's talking about getting you evaluated, maybe a psychiatrist, maybe a guardian to manage your affairs. She just wants what's best for you." I gripped the phone, my knuckles white. Evaluated. A guardian. They weren't just trying to guilt me. They were trying to take my freedom, my autonomy. I could see it now. Claire and Robert scheming behind my back, painting me as a senile old woman to seize control of my money, my house, my life. The betrayal cut deeper than I could have imagined. "I'm fine, Robert," I said, my voice low and steady. "And if Claire's so concerned, she can talk to me herself. Stay out of this." I hung up before he could respond, my hands trembling. The ground was shifting beneath me, but I wasn't going to let them win. Not this time. The next morning, I confronted Claire. She was in the living room, scrolling on her phone, her posture casual, as if nothing was wrong. I stood in the doorway, arms crossed, and took a deep breath. "I know what you're doing," I said, my voice calm but firm. "You went to Robert. You're trying to make people think I'm losing my mind, that I need someone to manage me, but you're not going to get away with it." Claire's eyes flickered with surprise, but she quickly recovered, her lips curling into a smirk. "You're paranoid, Mom. I'm just worried about you. You're selling the house out of nowhere, yelling about the car. You're not acting like yourself." "Don't lie to me," I snapped. "This isn't about concern. This is about control. You and Robert think you can take everything I've worked for. My money, my home, my independence. But I'm not some helpless old woman, Claire. I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere." For a moment, she didn't respond. Her face was unreadable, but I saw a crack in her armor, a flicker of doubt, maybe guilt. Then she stood, brushing past me. "You're making this harder than it needs to be," she muttered before leaving the room. I stood there, my heart racing. This was just the beginning. Claire and Robert wouldn't stop. They'd escalate, and I needed to be ready. That afternoon, I called my lawyer, Susan, a sharp, no-nonsense woman I'd known since my teaching days. I explained everything: the car, Claire's behavior, Robert's call, and their plan to declare me unfit. Susan listened quietly, then said, "Evelyn, we're going to fight this. But we need to be proactive. Gather every piece of evidence you have: financial records, medical history, anything that proves you're in control. This could get ugly." The next few months were a battle I hadn't expected. Susan helped me build a case, collecting documents showing I'd managed my finances impeccably since William's death. I got statements from my doctor confirming I was in good health mentally and physically. I asked friends from my bridge club, Doris and Helen, to write letters attesting to my clarity and independence. It was exhausting, emotionally and financially, but I couldn't afford to falter. Claire grew bolder. She started bringing Robert to the house, the two of them whispering in the kitchen like conspirators. I overheard snippets, talk of guardianship, power of attorney, and protecting the estate. They weren't just after the house. They wanted everything: my savings, my investments, the life insurance payout from William's death. They saw me as an obstacle to their greed. One evening, as I sorted paperwork in the dining room, Robert confronted me. He stood in the doorway, his tall frame casting a shadow. "Evelyn, let's be reasonable," he said, his voice smooth but condescending. "You're not getting any younger. Claire's worried sick, and frankly, so am I. Selling this house, pushing her away, it's not rational. Let us help you. We can find a nice assisted living place, somewhere you'll be comfortable." I looked up, meeting his gaze. "Comfortable?" I repeated, my voice icy. "You mean locked away so you and Claire can split my money? I'm not going anywhere, Robert. This is my home, my life, and I'm not handing it over to you." His jaw tightened, but he didn't argue. He left without a word, but I knew the fight was far from over. The next day, I received a letter from Robert's lawyer, formally requesting a psychiatric evaluation to assess my capacity to manage my affairs. It was the first shot in a legal war, and I felt its weight like a stone in my chest. Susan was my lifeline. She guided me through the legal maze, preparing me for what was to come. "They're trying to intimidate you," she said during a meeting, "but their case is weak. We'll show the court you're capable, Evelyn. You've got this." The hearing was set for 3 months later, giving me time to prepare, but also time for anxiety to fester. I couldn't sleep, haunted by the thought of losing everything, not just the house, but my freedom, my dignity. I imagined Claire and Robert in a lawyer's office, plotting how to spend my money once I was out of the way. The betrayal was a wound that wouldn't heal, but it fueled me. I wasn't going to let them win. As the court date neared, I noticed a shift in Claire. She stopped bringing Robert around, and her defiance seemed to fade. She'd linger in the kitchen, watching me with an expression I couldn't read. One night, as I made tea, she spoke up, her voice hesitant. "Mom, can we talk?" she asked, sitting at the table, her hands clasped tightly. I nodded, wary but curious. "What is it, Claire?" She took a deep breath, her eyes fixed on the table. "I didn't mean for things to get this far. I was scared, okay? Scared of losing you, of you getting older, and me not being able to handle it. Robert made it sound like we were helping you, like it was the right thing. But I see now. I see how it looks. I'm sorry." Her words caught me off guard. I'd seen her as the enemy, the manipulator. But now, she looked small, vulnerable, like the girl who used to cling to me during thunderstorms. I wanted to believe her, but the hurt was too deep. "I don't know if I can trust you, Claire," I said, my voice soft but firm. "You went behind my back. You tried to take everything from me. How do I know this isn't another trick?" She flinched, tears welling. "It's not, I swear. I'm trying to make things right. I'll talk to Robert, tell him to back off. I just need time to fix this." I didn't respond right away. Part of me wanted to forgive her, to pull her into a hug and pretend none of this had happened. But I couldn't. Not yet. "Prove it," I said finally. "Show me you mean it. But don't expect me to make this easy." She nodded, wiping her eyes. "I will, Mom. I promise." The courtroom was stark, its fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows. I sat beside Susan, hands folded, trying to steady my breathing. Across the room, Robert sat with his lawyer, his face confident. Claire was there, but she kept her eyes down, avoiding my gaze. I wondered if she'd kept her promise, if she'd told Robert to back off. I'd soon find out. The hearing began with Robert's lawyer presenting their case. He painted me as a woman spiraling, selling my home impulsively, alienating my daughter, mismanaging finances. He cited the car incident, my erratic decision to sell, even my reclusive lifestyle as evidence of mental decline. Each word was a dagger, but I kept my composure. I had to. Susan was relentless. She presented my financial records, medical reports, and letters from friends, all proving I was in control. She called Doris to the stand, who spoke warmly of our bridge games and my sharp wit. Then it was my turn. I walked to the witness stand, legs steady despite the nerves. The judge, a stern woman with kind eyes, asked me to explain why I believed I was capable. I took a deep breath and began. "I'm 74, I said, my voice clear. "I've lost my husband, raised my daughter alone, and built a life I'm proud of. Yes, I'm selling my house, but not because I'm confused. It's because I want to live on my terms, not my daughter's or anyone else's. I've made mistakes, but I've never stopped fighting for what matters. I'm not perfect, but I'm not incapable, and I won't let anyone take that from me." The room was silent. I glanced at Claire, and for the first time, I saw pride in her eyes. Robert's lawyer tried to rattle me during cross-examination, but I held my ground. By the day's end, I felt drained but resolute. I'd said my piece, and that was enough. The judge's ruling came the next morning. She looked at me, her expression unreadable, before speaking. "Miss Harper, the court finds no evidence to suggest you are unfit to manage your affairs. You retain full control over your finances, property, and life. This case is closed." Relief flooded me, so intense I nearly cried. Susan squeezed my hand, a rare smile breaking through. Robert's face was stone, his confidence shattered. Claire looked relieved, her shoulders relaxing as if a weight had lifted. As we left the courtroom, Claire approached, her steps hesitant. "Mom, I told Robert to stop. I meant what I said. I'm done fighting you." I studied her face, searching for sincerity. "I hope so, Claire." I said. But trust takes time. You'll need to show me, not just tell me. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I will, I promise. The months that followed were a slow rebuilding. Claire got a job at a local coffee shop, a small step but meaningful. She started paying her own expenses, even contributing to the Cadillac's repairs. We didn't talk much about the past, but there were moments, shared coffee, quiet evenings in the garden, where I saw glimpses of the daughter I'd lost. Robert faded into the background, his threats empty without Claire's support. I decided not to sell the house, at least not yet. It was still my home, and I wasn't ready to let go. Instead, I made it mine again, repainted the walls, planted new roses. My bridge club friends became my lifeline, their laughter filling the house with warmth. One evening, Claire brought a photo album from the attic. We sat on the couch, flipping through pictures of her as a child, of William and me in happier times. I miss this, she said softly, tracing a photo of us at a county fair, her face painted like a butterfly. So do I admitted. But we can't go back, Claire. We can only move forward. She nodded, a small smile breaking through. I'm trying, Mom. I really am. I didn't know if we'd ever fully heal, if the scars of betrayal would fade, but for the first time in years, I felt hope, not just for Claire, but for myself. I'd fought for my life, my independence, and I'd won. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but I was ready. I was Evelyn Harper, and no one, not my daughter, not my brother-in-law, not the weight of age, could take that from me. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and please share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear where you're watching from and what this story meant to you. Your voice matters, and I can't wait to connect with you all.